Hello everyone, checking in on altcoins today. Took a little poll from members, got the most popular ones, and pretty much just took the ones that got multiple votes. So we're going to be looking at FCT OMG STRAT EOS XRP and ANS. So let's start it off with FCT. Going to be starting with everything on the daily time frame and then zooming in a little bit for more details. So what we're looking at here on the daily time frame is we very clearly entered a downtrend from the high here where we started seeing lower highs and lower lows, and then the momentum started to shift a bit and we saw our low set, still a lower high pattern, then we formed our higher low and a higher high. So that begins to shift momentum. A bullish MACD cross occurred with that on the daily time frame, and that starts to shift our perspective where we now look for higher lows and higher highs to begin forming because of that trend change. So we do have a higher low now attempting to form at 5.9, and we have an inside bar forming on the daily time frame. These are bullish reversal candlesticks, but we have to see a bullish break of these inside bars to be looking back at the recent high up at 865. So there's definitely some pressure on these altcoins, and we are starting to see the first signs of attempting to change that trend. But if we lose these lows and lose this higher low pattern, the bears are going to take control right back. So on the weekly time frame, we can see bullish reversal candlestick is not being confirmed. So that's obviously not the ideal way for the bulls to be looking to turn this momentum around. So still tightening ranges here on the weekly time frame. This is not the ideal bullish reversal confirmation that the bulls would be looking for. That being said, seeing where we are coming from, it is still a higher low pattern. So that momentum has not been lost. It would be a big red flag for me, obviously, if we lose our recent low of 5.3 and then this low of 4. That would pretty much break, so to speak, this bullish momentum on this weekly time frame that we see. But keep in mind the volume. The breakout volume, very significant. The pullback volume was on declining volume, which is a great sign for the bulls. And then we see a spike here, and you look at this volume and you say, oh, there was a big red volume. But you look there, and there's a lower wick on that candlestick, showing the bulls buying a bit of that dip. So certainly not all bear volume on that increase. But again, the lack of follow-through is a bit concerning. Bulls need to get it together here, and at the very least, tomorrow, see a bull break of this inside bar and start to head back up toward those 880 levels, 865, the most recent high. OMG on the daily time frame, also seeing consolidation, but same thing. The volume is favoring the bulls in the sense that it is nice, normal, and healthy, increasing bull volume on the way up, decreasing bear volume on the consolidation. But we are seeing our good friend, the equilibrium pattern form here, where we have our high, low of consolidation at 102 is the must-hold support, and I'm doing rounding on these altcoins just to keep it simple with all the decimal points. And again, I'm using... I'll clarify from now on. FCT BTC was the first chart. This is OMG USD, and I use USD whenever I can, just because that's what I personally am trading in. And although I'm not trading these altcoins, that is the default that I go to. And other than that, I'll go to Bitcoin after that. So we have the higher low attempting to form. Our original low is down at 102. Then we formed our lower high at 143. And now we're forming our higher low at 110. So at this point, if you've been watching my videos over the past couple weeks, couple months, whatever it is, it's very clear that these equilibrium patterns occur everywhere. And that is a point that I want to get across to everybody. You can look at the MJ sector. You can look at gold. You can look at oil, natural gas, anything that is traded. This is human emotion and human psychology depicted on a chart, and it happens time and time again. After a breakout or a breakdown, you will see this equilibrium pattern and tightening range forming. And what it is price discovery. It's the market saying, okay, we're in a new price range. Let's see where support and resistance is found, and it tightens up continuously before we see a clear break and a spike in volume. So we're watching for that to happen, play out over the next few days, but still seeing this consolidation take place. And at this point, the bulls have to see a bull move, get over 120, the high of this daily candlestick, and then look to form a lower high compared to 143 to stay in this tightening pattern. So the weekly time frame is not going to have much information with it being so new to trading. So here it is on the 4-hour time frame. Very clear high, low, lower high, higher low, and you can zoom in for more details by looking at this 4-hour chart. STRAT BTC. So the daily time frame here also trying to change the trend, but we have work to do for these bulls. So after we hit the top, very clear lower highs and lower lows, keeping the bears in full control. Look at that volume climax, signaling the bottom. Always a really nice signal when you see a bullish reversal candlestick with a volume climax, and then you confirm it the next day with follow through. So now we're seeing a lower high still on the long-term pattern, but again, because we are seeing this bullish shift a bit, the bullish momentum, we're going to be looking for higher lows and higher highs to try and continue playing out here. So at this point, we're not very confident that our higher low has been established. We don't have a bullish reversal candlestick being confirmed. At this point, that low is 15.5, and we have to see the bulls show up and confirm a bullish reversal candlestick to be confident that the bulls have established that new higher low. Because of the lower wick here is not significant, that's not a bullish reversal candlestick, and not too much confidence just yet. But we do have inside bars on the daily time frame forming on a bunch of these altcoins, so that is what to be watching heading into tomorrow, Sunday, towards the end of the weekend. So zooming in here, or actually let's zoom out, let's go to the weekly because we have enough price action that it is relevant. So the weekly time frame, again, the bear volume on consolidation was minimal, and that's great for the bulls. And you can see once we did see that spike in volume, it was a bullish reversal hammer candlestick. The long lower wick depicts the bulls buying that dip, and then we confirm that reversal candlestick. Now we have a weekly inside bar to be watching as well, but this is going to be the start of a potential shift in this momentum as long as the daily time frame can form that higher low. So let's go to the 4 hour to get a little bit more detail. And we can see that we're just coming off the low. Again, not much confidence yet. Have to see a break of 18.2 to get our little higher low and higher high here and follow through with this bullish MACD cross. If you've been watching the videos and you've been watching these big three, Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum, we know that this 4 hour bullish MACD cross is usually a solid signal. So it's not, I am not as familiar with it on this particular altcoin, so I'll go back and I'll look at history and I'll say, okay, last time we had a bull MACD cross, we had a big time leg to the upside. And these bull MACD crosses do give some nice signals for some momentum on this 4 hour time frame. So that alone would have me anticipating that the bulls are more likely than not to be able to break this 18.2 level and see some further upside. Of course, with August 1st approaching and so much uncertainty around Bitcoin and around the whole sector, the whole crypto space as a whole, we do need to have that as a factor in our analysis and not make any assumptions as to what we think is going to happen. We can have our opinions and we can position ourselves and our trades for what we think is going to happen, but we have to have an exit plan in case what we think is going to happen doesn't happen. We can't be so sure with ourselves where we, establish a game plan but don't have an exit plan, because that's when we get in trouble. EOS USD, also fairly new trading. A little bit of a red flag here just because we broke the all-time low on this consolidation. We had a big bull move to start, hit the high at 213. Bulls wanted to see a higher low on this consolidation, and we didn't get that. We did get a bullish reversal hammer and some follow-through, but it is a lower high and technically a lower low at this point, although the bulls did buy that dip. So in order for the bulls to change this momentum on this daily time frame, we're going to have to see a break of this lower high pattern. So at this point, the all-time low is down at 148. Now the bulls are trying to form a higher low at 160, and the bulls have to break 199 to break the momentum. And I do believe we're going to continue seeing a tightening pattern play out for a few more days at the least before that does occur. And we look at the 4 hour time frame for more detail, and we can see our clear lower high. We could put a trend line there for some visual. And again, I'm making sure no candlestick is closing above my downtrend resistance line. And we could also put an uptrend line, although this bounce, again, it's not fully developed at this point in the sense that we cannot be confident that our higher low has been established because we only have one green candlestick. We don't have any bullish reversal confirmation on this. Just moving around some lines here. We don't have any bullish reversal confirmation on this 4 hour candlestick. So this higher low, while visually we can see the bulls are attempting to get this set up, it is not very confidence building at this point just yet. We need more follow through. We need to break the high of this bullish candlestick of 174 in order to see this pattern continue playing out. So tightening ranges across the board is the common theme here in the altcoin space currently, and it might be August 1st that does lead to these breaks, because as of right now it is noon on 7/29. We've got 2 more trading days until 2.5 trading days until August 1st. So there is plenty of time for these tightening patterns to continue tightening, and then perhaps August 1st is that catalyst for the break, and we'll have to see which direction the break occurs, but we can assume that most of the altcoins will likely go in the same direction with the correlation with each other. XRPUSD, daily time frame. This is one of the weaker names that I'm looking at right now, and we had that low down at 13.2, and we broke to a lower low, so that's always a red flag. Any name that has broken to a lower low on the pullback is more of a red flag than any name that has not. It's more weak. So our new low is 12.66. Still a lower high pattern. So we had a bounce attempt here that topped out at 22, a bounce attempt here that topped out at 21, and bulls are trying to form a higher low. This is a bullish reversal candlestick on the daily. We have to confirm it with follow through to the upside, but I personally would not want to be in this position bullish unless you know you're long the fundamentals. But technically speaking, I would not want to be bullish in this position until we break the lower high pattern and show a shift in that momentum. So some of these other names have broken the lower high pattern. Here's FCT again, where we do have that higher high. So that's a completely different setup than we see on XRP here, which still has a lower high pattern and still favors the bears with that momentum in the bearish direction. So looking at the 4-hour time frame for a little bit more details, we can see that we're just trying to start a bounce here. Key break of support occurred, and so far this is the weakest chart that we've already looked at. And this was a bearish reversal head and shoulders. We'll have to see it gets followed through to the downside, but you can just see visually the shoulder, the head, the right shoulder. This is our neckline of support where I just drew that line. And as soon as we broke that level of 16, that was a bear break. And it didn't lead to an all-out dump because the 4-hour RSI is close to oversold, but lower highs and lower lows more likely to continue than not at this current point in time, unless the whole alt space sees a bull break, then we will likely see XRP go along with it. But again, at this point, XRP out of these 5 so far is the weakest chart that we have looked at. So now going on to ANS, and ANS is not on TradingView. Eventually they'll get their act together, I'm sure. So using Bittrex here, and new to the Bittrex software, so bear with me. But it's a very clear pattern here. It's a nice daily equilibrium pattern where we have our high on the breakout, low of consolidation, lower high, higher low, lower high. Bulls now trying to work on that higher low. Anything above the recent low of 215 will keep this tightening pattern intact, and currently the low is let's see, that low that I was looking at, it's 2 cents actually on the dot, not 2 cents, 0.002. So anything above 0.002 will keep the higher low pattern intact. So at this point, it's the same story. We don't have confidence right now that our higher low has been established. We don't have a bullish reversal candlestick. We don't have any confirmation. So we can see visually the bulls are trying to form their higher low here, but we don't have much confidence that it is established yet at this point due to the candlesticks that are currently forming. So we can see the bulls attempting to show up, but we just had a bearish candlestick, and at this point, not really confidence building that our higher low has been established. So zooming in on the 4-hour time frame, if we even have the 4-hour time frame, looks like we don't. So we'll go to the hourly, and we can see on the hourly, bulls are trying here. We have our low, high of the bounce, which is still a lower high pattern, tight, 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 still a lower high. So the high originally of this bounce attempt was up at 267, and now we have a lower high at 265. So we have to break 267 for the bulls to gain that momentum, and if we do, we'll see the odds shift a bit, and we'll be more confident that our higher low on that daily time frame has been established. So in terms of the most pretty, beautiful tightening pattern on the daily time frame that is drawn out and significantly playing out for the past, let's see, this was June 19th, so this is 6 weeks of consolidation. Look at the volume, very clear declining volume on this consolidation pattern. And this is the most long-term drawn-out pattern out of everything that we just looked at, which when we see a clear break, the psychology, you have to figure that anybody using technical analysis are all looking at the same levels. So when we see a clear break, a clear pattern set up, and then a clear break occur, everybody's looking at that trade signal, and that's why the volume pours in, and we see momentum to the upside, because a lot of people are recognizing this break. Think how many people are trading this space, how many individual chat rooms there are out there and how many trading groups there are. We're talking, tens of thousands of traders are watching these same levels. So when they break, it's recognized and everybody jumps on it. So most drawn out pattern is ANS. It will be the clearest break sometime. It could play for another couple of weeks in terms of tightening, but again, August 1st may be that catalyst for a break. XRP is the weakest that we've looked at. And in terms of the strongest that we've looked at, let's get that nice drawn out pattern here on OMG on the 4-hour time frame. In terms of the strongest, and it's relatively speaking because it's still not that strong, it is FCT because of that clear break of the lower high pattern. But again, that's relatively speaking because all of these altcoins, none of them are really exhibiting really strong patterns at this point. It's just the least bearish pattern is how I would describe it. So that's what we've got going into this next week. August 1st, certainly going to be very exciting. Lots of attention, lots of volume probably going to be coming in. and certainly going to be exciting. So we'll check back in. We're going to try and do these altcoin videos once every weekend, maybe going live to do them every now and again, but I will be away out of the country this coming weekend, so don't expect a video. Thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your weekend. We'll see you soon.